Welcome to Steady Growth, where we build money, character, and resilience the same way. Small, steady, and on purpose. No hype, just honest steps that add up. Let's begin. Watch this. Your kid is stuck. The bike, the math sheet, the tryout. And they say the sentence that breaks your heart a little. I can't do it. I'm bad at this. So you do what loving parents do. You open the fire hose. Are you kidding? You're amazing! You can do anything! And you watch, baffled, as every word bounces off. They don't argue. They just don't believe you. Sometimes it even makes it worse. The shoulders drop further, like you're cheering is one more bar they're failing to clear. Here's why. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Confidence was never made of words, not even loving ones. A child's confidence, anyone's confidence, is made of evidence, their own accumulated proof that when they push on hard things, the hard things move. And a doubting kid isn't short on compliments. They're short on exhibits. You can't argue someone out of "I can't," but you can help them build a case file against it, one small, undeniable piece of evidence at a time. Tonight, how confidence is actually built, and why the answer changes what you do at the bike, the worksheet, and the kitchen table this week. Picture a quiet little courtroom inside your child's head. When a challenge shows up, the deep end, the solo, the harder book, the brain doesn't ask, "What do my parents think of me?" It asks a colder, fairer question. What's in the file? What have I actually done before? Psychologists call this self-efficacy, and decades of work by Albert Bandura point at one finding worth taping to your fridge. He mapped 4 places confidence can come from: watching other people do it, getting pep-talked into it, feeling calm in your body, and actually doing the thing yourself. And one of those 4 towers over the rest. It's the last one. Bandura called it mastery experiences. Your own wins. Things you personally did, especially things that were hard right up until you did them. Encouragement, role models, a steadied heartbeat, all real, all helpful, all minor, next to the simple fact of having pulled something off once before. That's why your praise bounces. Praise is testimony, and this court prefers exhibits. Think of it like 2 folders sitting side by side on the desk inside their head. One is fat and dog-eared, labeled "Things I've Actually Done." Rode to the mailbox, finished the hard page, raised my hand that one time. The other is thin and shiny, labeled "Nice Things People Said About Me." When the hard moment comes, watch which folder the brain reaches for. Every single time, it reaches for the fat one. That's why one real win outweighs 100 compliments. The day a kid actually rides to the mailbox does more for the file than every "you can do it" ever shouted from the porch combined. And notice the freeing flip side for you. You've been trying to be the source of your child's confidence, and you can't be. Nobody can. The proof has to be theirs, in their handwriting, in their folder. But you can become something better than the source. The architect of moments where they generate their own evidence. That's a job you can actually win at. So let's build. Here's the craft, and it has 2 moves. Move 1. Shrink the challenge until a win is likely, then climb. Picture the gap between where your kid is and where they want to be as a single enormous step, a wall too tall to clear. A kid drowning in "I can't ride a bike" won't disprove that today. The claim's too big to fight. So you don't fight the wall. You turn it into a ladder. "I can't balance for 3 seconds on the lawn." That one's beatable this afternoon. So the rungs go grass, then the driveway, then the mailbox, then around the block. Each rung small enough that success is probable, real enough that success counts. This isn't lowering the bar, it's putting rungs on it, so the climb actually happens. Developmental psychologists call it scaffolding, and the whole art is the calibration. Each rung just past easy, well short of overwhelming. Too low, and there's no real win to file. Too high, and they fall, and a fall files the wrong exhibit. You're aiming for the stretch zone, the rung that's a little scary and very winnable. That's where evidence grows fastest. Move 2. When the wind lands, don't praise the child, point at the evidence. There's a world of difference between, "You're so talented," and, "Look at that. Yesterday the driveway scared you, and today you rode straight down it. You did that." The first is your opinion, bounce-prone as ever. The second is a filing instruction. You're literally helping them log the exhibit in their own court under their own name. And here's the part to really watch. Say it specifically. Not a vague, "Good job," but the actual chain. You kept your eyes up, you didn't grab the brake, you pedaled through the wobble. Specific is what makes it fileable. "Good job" floats off, you pedaled through the wobble goes in the folder. So narrate the effort, the strategy, the progress out loud in detail, and let the big conclusion, the one about being capable, form where conclusions actually stick, inside them. And before you file this under parenting only, turn it around. Because "I can't, I'm bad at this" has a grown-up dialect, and you've probably spoken it. "I'm just bad with money." Listen to what that sentence really is. It's a verdict handed down by a court with an empty evidence file. And notice what doesn't fix it. Affirmations bounce off adults exactly the way praise bounces off kids. Nobody ever mantraed their way into trusting themselves with money. What fixes it is the same thing that fixes the bike. Small, real, undeniable wins, deliberately engineered. The $20 that moved into savings automatically 6 weeks running, that's an exhibit, quiet proof that you keep a promise to yourself. The bill that hasn't been late since you put it on autopay? Exhibit. The 2-minute balance check you used to dread and now just do? Exhibit. None of these are impressive, and that's exactly the point. They're winnable, and winnable is what files are built from. Stack a season of them and watch the verdict quietly change. Not because you argued with "I'm bad with money," but because the files stopped backing it up. The automation saves the dollars. The streak builds the believer. The money grows, and so does the person holding it. Now, 3 honest edges to this before you take it home. First, praise is not the villain. Warmth, delight, encouragement, your kids should swim in those, and going cold was never the plan. The point is narrower. Praise simply can't do evidence's job. So praise the effort and the strategy. Enjoy your child out loud. Just don't ask compliments to fill a tank that only experience fills. Second, don't manufacture fake wins. Kids have flawless detectors for a rigged game. The race you obviously threw, the "great job" for nothing. Counterfeit exhibits don't just fail to build the file, they teach a kid your praise means nothing, which poisons the real stuff too. The win has to be true, which is why shrinking the challenge honestly always beats faking the outcome. Third, and maybe most important, confidence is not the absence of fear, and we shouldn't sell kids that picture. The brave kid at the deep end is scared too. Their file just holds enough "I was scared and did it anyway" entries that fear stopped being a stop sign. So when your child's nervous, skip "there's nothing to be afraid of." Try the truer thing. Being nervous is fine. Remember the driveway? You were nervous then too. That's not a pep talk. That's reading aloud from the file. And it works better because it's real. So here's the whole thing to carry into the next "I can't." Stop arguing with it. You were never going to win that argument with words because confidence was never made of words. It's made of exhibits. Small, real, personally earned proof that hard things move when this particular kid pushes. Your job isn't to be the proof, it's to be the architect. Shrink the challenge to winnable, hold the ladder steady, and when the win lands, point at it so it gets filed. You did that. Then climb a rung. Then do the same for the doubter in your own mirror, the one who's bad with money, or not a runner, or terrible at hard conversations. Same tools. Tiny, true, repeated. Because here's the quiet promise underneath this whole episode, and it might be the most hopeful sentence in developmental psychology. Confidence isn't a personality your child either got or didn't. It isn't a gift some kids unwrap and others don't. It's a file. And files can be built at any age, starting at any size, beginning this afternoon on the lawn. So tonight, when you hear that little "I can't," don't reach for the fire hose, reach for the ladder. Confidence is evidence. Go help your people collect some. If something here was useful today, the best thing you can do is use it tonight in one small way. And if you'd like to keep growing with us, you're welcome in our tribe at familycreative.org. It's where we gather the tools and resources we build for people doing this on purpose, and where you can learn more, share what's working, and help someone a few steps behind you. That's the whole point. Small, steady, together. Be kind, try hard, do the work, build the family. We'll see you in the next one.